Welcome to this tutorial. This will be very simple for people who don't really understand the game well. Um, I'm just gonna click on a random country. Europe is the most played continent. I'm just gonna pick Germany for this one. Well, for the context of this, I'm in a private server and I have commands over the server. And I want you guys to understand the process of this. So this button right here, toggle console, isn't on public servers, but if I click it anyways, I am going to be giving the country that I'm playing around 1,000 manpower in order for you guys to understand fully how to grow your economy as fast as possible. So if I click here and then country, you can see I have 1,000 political power. But to you, you don't know what that means. Political power lets us control stuff like policies, and these policies help us with leading our country. You got Advanced Research Bureau, which expands our research output so we can research more stuff. You have Ignore Safety Regulations that lets you make factories for a cheaper price. You have leaders like Chief of Staff that makes your military have a stronger military attack. You have your Head of Research, which makes your research efficiency a lot better. That's the second example on what political power does. Now this is the most important part. When you join the game, you will have only around 100 political power, and depending on your country, every 5 days you're going to gain between 1 and 2 political power. You need political power in order to max out your economy. Now, in order to gain political power a lot more every 5 days, you gotta set certain laws. For example, party loyalty and press regulation tabs are the most important. I want to go to low party loyalty to minimum party loyalty first, because they both expand your political power gain by 15% for low and minimum is 25%. Press regulation times your political power gain by 1.1%, and propaganda only does it by 1.25%. So right now I have 1.8 political power increase every 5 days. If I set these laws, it's gonna grow. See, it changed from 1.8 to 2. I'm gonna check it again. It grew even more to 2.7. So that should help a lot. Another thing that people, the other thing that people should know is that they should maybe get constitutional monarchy, because that also increases your political power. Even absolute monarchy does the same thing, just a little bit more in terms of political power growth. Now, if you're on PC, click A on your keyboard and you go to the research tab. I usually firstly improve the research, and then I go to advanced supercomputers and I wait for that to reach to, like, let's just say research improvements. I usually wait to research improvements 3, and for advanced supercomputers I usually wait until advanced supercomputers 3 or 4, depends on the country. For Germany I would do 4. I usually do not do artificial intelligence because it makes up so much of your research and you need to focus on other things that are important. Now, you see the political tab, click it. This will help your political power gain tremendously. You can do political improvements, which improves your political power gain and political power research efficiency. And then political science grows your political power by 10%. So that's something you should look out for as well. I'm gonna keep this here and let this grow out. Let's go back to laws. And since I just maxed out all the laws for political power, let's talk about how to max out the laws for your economy. The best economy. First of all, let's look at resource subsidization. Basically, these laws let you sell a lot more into the internal market, and the internal market, first of all, you go to resources and trade. You could sell certain resources that are made by factories. You could go to trade and then sell to the internal market for that much money. This is just 1,000, for example. Nobody's really selling 1,000. But if I sold that much, then my income would grow by 2 million, so I would have a $4 million income. Now, let's go to laws. We're going to do limited, moderate, and generous resource subsidization. And then I'm going to go back to trade. Look how much it grew. As the income if I sold Verizon Electronics, 11 million. So, I'm going to click the flag of my country. I'm going to select the 4 biggest cities, and then I'm just going to make 4 electronic factories, just like this. And then I'm going to go to the trading section. I'm going to go to copper, and then I'm just going to buy non-copper from the other country. It doesn't have to be the United States. From not just copper, but also gold. Remember, those trades can actually increase your expenses, which will help with the economy. Now I have my factories. I'm going to go back to resources. See how I have 53 electronics every 5 days. I'm going to sell it to the internal market. I'm going to make 3 million. Just like that. And now my income should grow dramatically. See? $6 million income. Now it's almost $5 million I make every 5 days. That should definitely help you grow your economy. Now, there's more things that we can actually do to maximize the resource subsidization. First of all, we can extend the working hours, which actually expands our factory output. And what that actually does is that our output for these electronics or any resources that factories make will grow dramatically. So I'm going to go back to laws. We're going to do extended working hours and then unlimited working hours. I'm going to go back to resources, see how the electronics grew. Now, I'm going to cancel that trade and replace it with a new trade of 70. Now it's a $4 million income. So now my economy should grow even more. Now it's 7 million, $6 million income. It's very, very good. What I also like to do is to do industrial specialization manufacturing, which increases our factory output even more. So I'm going to go click that. Go back to resources. It grew even more. Do you see that? So I'm going to sell these. There we go. Now, what I like to do to make factories as much as possible is that I go to country and policies and do ignore safety regulations, but that increases your corruption. See how it just popped up? So I go to leaders. I see if there's a chief judge. There is not, so I have to increase my anti-corruption spending, which costs $1 million. $1 million every 5 days, which increases our expenses. What I also want to do is increase our government spending and research spending, in order to grow our stability and political power gain for government spending and to increase research efficiency for research spending. Since we increased government spending, that increased our political power. Now, with that, because of the ignore safety regulations, we can actually make factories faster and cheaper. So I'm going to make one fertilizer, 4 civilian. I'm going to go back to policies and remove the ignore safety regulations. And now I have to buy resources. So for steel factories, you have to get iron and titanium. For the motive factories, you have to get tungsten, which is hard to get sometimes in public service. And for fertilizer factories, you have to get phosphate. Let's wait for those factories to finish. Right, we have our factories now. We're gonna go to resources. Let me just fix this. First of all, I want to check on electronics. It went down, our electronics, because civilian factories actually take some of our electronics in order for the consumer goods to be made. So we just gotta adjust this real quick. Now, I'm gonna sell as much as possible out of these consumer goods. 184, $5 million income. $15 million of income. $8 million. You're already ahead of most of the server. Now, at this point, your research and advanced supercomputers should be done. So I'm going to remove them. And I want to focus on economic improvements. And then focus on political improvements and political science more. This will dramatically increase your political power gain. And you want to do this because eventually you're going to take that political power and you're actually going to go down the socialist path, which will max out your factory output. So you see 42.5% factory output gain. So what I'm going to do again, you don't have this in public service, I'm going to get myself 1,000 political power, and then I'm going to go communist. So now, I could sell even more, because communism actually maxes out your factory output, so now I'm making 7 million. And for electronics, your factory output too. $19 million income, very, very good, by 2021. Now, let's go focus on infrastructure. You can actually select these cities and improve the infrastructure, which improves your research output. So I'm just going to do it. This will grow your economy. Okay, so my infrastructure is growing at the moment. I'm at level 4. I want to go to resources, see how my output is dramatically growing. The max tier is 10, and if you do that more and more by improving infrastructure, your economy is going to get maxed out completely. So since my political science is growing, I now have 5.3 political power growth, which is pretty decent. And you want to take that and actually do Advanced Research Bureau, Public Service Act, which expands your factory output. And you can do Favor the Political Elite, which grows your political power even more, but also increases your corruption. So you're going to have to expand your anti-corruption spending a little to scratch that. Now, the final piece of the puzzle is actually getting your leaders. The thing that leaders I would get is head of research, education minister, political reformer, and a chief judge. Those might be hard to come by, but you will eventually be able to get them. So that's the video. I hope this video helped with what you're trying to do. Again, if you just max out your infrastructure, your economy will continue to grow drastically, and you will be able to dominate the rest of Europe.